bear with us, everyone who's is calling in live and listening. This is something new. We're using Blog Talk Radio and Google Hangout. It's the first time going live with it. Just getting our guests and everybody situated so they can call in. Now, if you guys don't know who's calling in, welcome to the show. This is Clinton Douglas with Jameson and Jason, and our special guest. We have Nate, and then we also have JC who's going to be calling in. Now, our special guests are both remote. JC's in Canada, and Nate's in Colombia right now. So just bear with us because it's kind of different when he's living another way of life. So we just got to get him wired up here, which is pretty good, which is cool, man. Which is very cool. Bring some flavor to the show, kind of like when we had Dakota, you know. All right. So let me know. Are you good on your end, Nate?
Yeah, I think I'm good. I still hear that echo, but I mean, I don't know how to get rid
Just
of
kind of,
it.
yeah. We might just have to roll with it. All right, man. Again, welcome to the show, man. We're glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here, man. I appreciate you for having me.
How's the weather down there in Colombia?
It's always spring, man. It's raining right now, but yeah, it's always beautiful though.
Nice,
They
nice.
call it the land of eternal spring. So it's been living up to their reputation so far.
Really, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, man. So what brings you to Colombia? Just to catch our guests up to speed, what brings you to Colombia? Why on earth would a man travel? Now, you left your accounting job, right? And you've been
Correct.
hanging around with these guys in this thing called Project AWOL. You ended up in Thailand. Now you're in Colombia. What's going on here, man? Wildest globe trotting.
Well, well, the thing is, man. Like I said, I was always when I was growing up, I was programmed to believe that you're supposed to go to school, get a good job, you know what I mean, get good grades, graduate, and then you land a job and you work for 30, 40 years, and if you're lucky, you retire. You know what I mean? And I was doing that, man. I thought I was doing everything right. I got a good job as an accountant for a Fortune 500 company, and but it didn't take me long to realize that that's not what I wanted. You know what I mean? I was in a very stressful environment, a lot of deadlines, a lot of negative energy, a lot of stressed out people, and it was taking a toll on me, man. And not only that, I knew that I was in student loan debt up to my eyeballs. So and even with the good money that I was making as an accountant, I knew that it would not be enough, and I would still be a slave to debt my whole life. So I started looking for other options, and I came across Project AWOL and Cam and Glenn, and I decided to give it a shot, man. And I completely put myself in their hands. I did what they told me to do, and within a few short months, man, I was able to walk away from my job. I took off and I flew to Thailand to film a reality show about living $1 million lifestyle and living another way of life. And even fast forward here a couple months, a couple months forward, I'm here in Medellin, Colombia, living a life, man. So they asked me if I wanted to come down, and I said absolutely. Why wouldn't I want to come down and learn from my mentors 24/7?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think JC just called in here too. JC, are you on the line with us? He's calling in. Sorry, we got a caller calling in. But man, so you left the accountant job, right? Just left it, man. After all that programming, you just left the accounting job.
Yeah, man. I hated it. I hated it, dude. I was so unhappy there, man. And then you know you are your surroundings, you are your environment, you're a product of your environment. So, surrounding yourself around that negative energy, man, it was making me a negative person. I hated waking up in the morning. I hated going to work. I would watch the clock all damn day. I couldn't wait to get off. And then when I did get off, it was bittersweet because I was just going home to go to bed and do it all over again the next day. You know what I mean? And so I didn't. I wanted to mix it up a little bit, man. I wanted to control what I did. If I wanted to pick up and leave and go somewhere, I wanted to do that. I wanted to have the freedom and the ability to be able to do that whenever I wanted to, man. And that's the life I'm living now, and I'm completely happy with my decision. There's no way I'm ever going back to the 9 to 5 lifestyle.
Cool, cool, cool. Now I know Jason and Jameson have some questions, and I want to get them on this. I know there's some audio. Like I said, there's a little audio on here. It's live. You know, it's coming from Colombia. Go figure. Okay, but it's all good. We're gonna blaze through. Jameson and Jason, I'm gonna open up to you guys.
Yeah. How you doing, Nate? How's everything out there in Colombia?
What's going on, Jason? Great, man. Great.
I just wanted to ask you, when you told your boss that you were actually leaving and you were not coming back, how was that received?
Well, he actually was a good guy. You know, he's a very understanding guy. He's from Africa, so he's well traveled, and he understood where I was coming from. I made it clear that I wanted to travel the world and see different places, and then I wanted to do it now. You know, because I left when I was 24 years. I'm still 24 years old, but I left when I was 24 years old, and I told him I made it clear that I wanted to be able to do this. You know, before I have kids, before I'm 30 years old and stuck in that 9 to 5 lifestyle. And he was actually very supportive of it, man. He told me to go for my dreams, do what I wanted to do, and I was actually surprised that he was so receptive. He actually gave me like 2 weeks to think about it to see if I would change my mind, and I came back like 2 days later and told him I don't need to think about it anymore.
That is so cool, man.
That's awesome. So, can you hear me okay? I just want to make sure I'm coming through clear.
I hear you loud and clear on my side.
Yeah. I can hear you, man.
So, Nate, I noticed on the second season, I think it was episode 2, you had said about living in the moment, and that's one of the things that really stuck out to me of one of your comments that you made, and I just wanted to kind of get your feedback on that, on how that's affected you since you've kind of been off the show.
Yeah, well, the thing is, man, being in Thailand, it made me realize that time is only it's not real. You know, it's something that we put in our minds. You know, we make it seem like it's real, but it's not really real, man. The only time that's real is right now. You know, and I really realized that in Thailand. You know, I never looked at my watch, not one time. Time was never an issue. I was just so focused on what was happening at that moment. You know, being present, just allowing yourself to have fun. You know what I mean? Just have fun, right? Don't think about tomorrow. Don't think about what happened last week. Don't think about the bills that are due. Just live for right now. Enjoy the moment, man. And life, it just makes life so much easier. You know what I mean? It takes the stress away. Because a lot of times when we're stressing about something that's happened in the past, something that's coming up in the future, and it just messes us up here. You know what I mean? But when you just focus on what's happening right now and making the best out of the time that you have right now, then you have no worries, man. And that's really what I realized in Thailand. That was one of my biggest takeaways, actually.
Was it? That's awesome.
Yeah, Jason said if you need to hang up and call back in. Go ahead, Jason, if you need to go ahead and do that. Take care of that. Like I said, I understand about the audio. So living in the now, man. What, like, when you say that, explain to our viewers and talk about that transformation process, because that's for some people that's extremely hard. Living in the now. You know, people may also say,
Yeah.
well, I am living in the now. What is the difference between what you're saying and what some people perceive to live in the now?
Well, I think the first thing you got to realize that, like I said before, time is just an illusion. It's not real. You know, it's not real. It's something that we put in place to I guess keep track of events. You know what I mean? But when you get rid of that preconception or whatever, and you realize that the only thing that matters, or the only thing that's really real, is what's going on right now. You see, I'm not right now. This moment, I'm worrying about the questions that you guys are asking. You know, I'm not worried about what happened 30 minutes ago. I'm not worried about what happened last week. I'm not worried about what's going to happen tomorrow. You know what I mean? I'm worried about right now, focusing on the questions that you guys are asking me. You know what I mean? That it takes away all of, you know, the things that we get caught up in every day. You know what I'm saying? All the worry, all the stress. It takes away from all of that, man. And that, being in Thailand and just doing the things that we were doing, you know, going ATV riding, that was the first time that I really felt in the moment. That was my first time on a four-wheeler, on an ATV, and I was crushing it, man. I got so comfortable, man. I was leading the pack for a moment. You know what I mean? So that was my first real time feeling in the moment. You know, so man, and since then, man, I've just been telling everybody that I come across, man, stop worrying about what's going to happen in the future. Stop worrying about what happened last week, man. Just worry about right now.
That's
Man,
awesome.
that's awesome. Jason, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to just follow up with what I was asking before. You had also talked
Okay.
about on the show that was actually your first time being out the country. So you're in a strange land, almost in a third country for your first time. Where most people, when they go out, when they go out the country, they go to Europe, they go to Asia, but you're in a third country. So what was that
Right,
whole
right.
experience with that being your first time out of the country?
Well, actually, man, like yeah, it was my first time out of the country, and it is a third world country. But uh, I mean, I had never been in a house like that. I mean, the house was lavish, man. It was huge. We had two of them actually. Beautiful hillside mansions overlooking the Andaman Sea. I had never seen something so majestic, man. Something so beautiful. I had never seen that much water in my entire life. You know what I mean? So it was definitely a shock, and it made me realize that I had been missing out on a lot, man. You know, third world country or not, man, just stepping out of the country, out of your own country, and experiencing totally different cultures and meeting totally different people, it does something to you, man. It makes you realize that there is actually an entire world out there, you know, totally different from what you're used to, and it just makes you a more well-rounded person and a more confident person, really. It's done a lot for my confidence, man.
You did. Okay.
Let's talk about, if you can, for a second, the AWOL panel. You know, when they hit you with the sledgehammer in your chest. How did it? How did you take that? Like when they asked you those tough questions, and they're personal about you. How did that make you feel? And what did it like when they told you about focus and stuff like that? Just being on that panel. Give us some feedback from just being in the moment of the AWOL panel and the questions that they asked you.
Yeah, I had already, I had known Cammy and Glenn and Dakota. I met them before, so I was really comfortable, on the panel, man. I wasn't nervous or anything like that. They just asked me why I was here. Why was I in Thailand? Why was I in search for another way of life? And that was an easy question for me to answer, man. I wanted to break away from that box lifestyle that I mentioned before, where you wake up in the morning, you travel in your box, which is your car. On the way to your job, you sit in that other box, which is your cubicle. You work on that other box, which is your computer, and you watch the clock all day. And only to get off work, hop back in that box, drive home, watch your box, your TV. You know what I'm saying? And then you go back to bed and you wake up and you do the whole thing over again, man. I was so tired of that box lifestyle that I had to do something else, man. And then being out in Thailand, man, it really made me realize that my vision was too small. It was too small, man. My goals were too small. I was selling myself short. I realized that life really didn't have to be any worse than what I was experiencing right then in that moment. It didn't have to be any worse than that. Why would I have to settle for anything when I know that I have the tools and the resources available to me online to create my income and the lifestyle that I want? That's all you need, man. You got the ingredients right there for your dream lifestyle. So life really does not have to be worse than that. And that's what the panel was all about. They asked me why I wanted to, what I wanted, why was I there, and that's why I was there, man. That's the very reason why I went to Thailand, and I wanted to be a part of the AWOL experience.
Now using those tough questions, right? Now being an accountant, right? And looking at being an accountant and knowing where you are. If your boss, when you right before you went to Thailand, put you on the red carpet, said, "Man, why are you an accountant? Why, and what's your focus? Where you really go? Your goals you want to be in life? How would you address them now knowing about Project AWOL? Even though we know you quit, but there's a question, there's a reason why I'm doing the parallel here between the accountant and then being a freedom artist, if you will.
Okay, could you repeat it? It was a little choppy.
Okay.
I don't think I got the whole question.
Okay. being an accountant, if you were on the red carpet today in front of your boss, right? And the question of why are you here? Why are you an accountant? Or let's say when you first started to be an accountant.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So you're asking how does the answer differ, or what would my answer have been if my boss was asking me that question? Oh man, I'd tell him because I majored in finance in college and I wanted to make some good money and I know an accounting job is a very secure job or whatever. So that would have been my answer for that question, man. But to be honest, I never really enjoyed the work, man. It's monotonous, it's boring, it's stressful. I mean,
So it wasn't
you're
the
literally
dream. It wasn't the dream that they sold you on right out of high school. So you make all this money as an accountant, you live this lifestyle and stuff.
Man. The corporate lifestyle, man, is not it's not the dream that they make it out to be, man. It is a nightmare. It is to me, to each his own, But to me, it was a nightmare, man. It was a nightmare. I hated it.
And then now being
I don't use the word hate too often, but man, I hated that.
Hey, just I got to mention here for our callers, for people that's listening to us on Blog Talk Radio. If we're live right now, so if you do want to call in and talk to Nate, the numbers to call is 646-478-4919. Again, the number is 646-478-4919. We're live right now here on Thursday afternoon. It's about 4:22. So if you guys want to call in, be our guest, call in right now, and you can talk to Nate. All right. So James, I got to get used to that. We're not used to usually doing that. But Jameson, if you had a question yourself.
Yeah, that's got to be a real big shift from you for moving from being an accountant to doing this. Is there anything major that you'd have to kind of adjust to, or did it just all kind of fall into place? I'm sure it's probably a lot easier being around Dakota and Cam and everybody there in Columbia.
Yeah.
But what are some of the things that you've had to go through to kind of have to shift your mindset in order to kind of adjust?
Yeah, exactly, man. It's required a big mental shift because going from the employee mindset to the business owner mindset, it's totally different. It's a totally different mindset. And a lot of people enter this industry or join this business and they still have the employee mindset or the job mindset. You can't have that, man. You gotta totally shift your focus. And being around them, Cam, Glenn, Dakota, is definitely shortened my learning curve a lot, man. As soon as I got here, I started to work on my personal development. I started practicing gratitude. I started listening to, I was always listening to inner circle audios, but I started listening to higher level audios, bigger leaders, Jeffrey Combs, Tony Robbins, Wayne Dyer. I started listening to a lot of different guys, man, and it really made me realize that it's all up here. The power of the mind is something. It's so crazy, man. Like you can literally change your mind and you change your reality. And being here around these guys has really allowed me to pick up on that really fast. And as soon as I got here, man, my life started to magically change. I was waking up in the morning, I was practicing gratitude, I was giving thanks for everything everything I was grateful for, and even things that I didn't think that I was grateful for at first. Just being grateful for everything in your life, period. And what that does is it attracts more of the positivity into your life. And that's what I've really learned the most since being here, and it's been worth the trip already. The first week it was worth it already.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a big thing. Change your mind, change your life. Well, so out of that stuff, I know you said you got into some higher personal development. The inner circle audio. I always tell my new members coming on. I tell them, the inner circle audios are kind of more personal development for the internet marketer, but really, right. I think we need to go one step beyond that. And you said you got into higher level personal development. So what was the biggest impact of the personal development that you've gone through so far? What stands out to you the most of everything that you've done so far?
Well, I would have to say gratitude, man.
Gratitude.
I started reading a book called The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, and it's a 31-day plan of expressing gratitude in different ways, and that really, man, it really allowed me to see that I should be grateful for everything in my life, not just the money that I'm making, but the money that I borrowed in my life, the money that was given to me, the bills that I have. Be grateful for everything because it's all led you to this point. Be grateful for the air that you breathe. Be grateful for you know the engineers that make the water, that clean the water for you so that you can drink clean water and you can bathe and be grateful for everything, man. And once I started practicing that, man, I mean, I started getting more clients coming into my business. I started getting more and more good news every day, whether it's from family or friends or some of my team members or whatever, man. It magically changed my life altogether. And
That's awesome.
so I would
So,
I
so
would definitely recommend everyone to read the magic and practice their gratitude that she talks about in that book.
What was that book again? I'm trying to take notes because I haven't actually done that book yet. It's called
Yeah,
The Magic.
it's called The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. The same woman who wrote
Rutherford.
The Secret. Yeah, the same people from The Secret. Yeah,
Okay. It's called The Magic. Okay,
yeah, the
cool.
yeah,
magic. I don't have it
The
near me.
Magic.
It's in the other room. It's a good book, man. I've been using it myself. It's different. I mean, and I'm 15 years military, and I've done the insurance, and I've been in, you would just say professional sales and stuff like that, and it's totally different because in the job you're worried about sales or in the army I was worried about recruiting people, or when I was in combat I was worried about just staying alive, and it's different. I mean, here it is. You're living another way of life, and you're practicing gratitude. You're practicing, just the simple pleasures. It kind of reminds me of the movie with Eddie Murphy, A Thousand Words, when he was ungrateful in that tree, man.
Yeah,
Kept on dropping those
exactly.
leaves.
Yeah,
And then when he became grateful, the tree became full again. You know. And
exactly.
it's just amazing just to really, in our viewers and our listeners out there. I mean, this is not hocus pocus. This is real stuff here. Nate is real. You can poke him. You see him in Orlando here in a few weeks. He's not some fluff guy. We just met. He's a real person. And what he's talking about is things that we once thought were fake. You know what I'm saying? When I mean we once thought were fake because of the people we surrounded ourselves with. Look how Nate said, the transformation. When he was an accountant, he was negative, a bad person, blah, blah, blah. And then when he started hanging around people like Dakota, Cam George, and the AWOL type of people, okay, look how his whole life changed. It's crazy, man. Crazy, crazy. I'm going to pass the mic over to Jason.
Nate, so just talk to our listeners about what is another way of life, because you were in the 9 to 5 job, you were an accountant, you had to get up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and then you had to be there the whole day. Now that you're on that other side, what is your typical day like now?
Oh, oh man, good day. I do whatever I want to do, man. We might wake up, go down to Parque Yetis, which is a pretty cool park down here in the center down here, and we might shoot some videos, or we might wake up and go paragliding, or we might take off and go see some of the natural wonders of the world. Go take a look at Pablo Escobar's crib.
Tell us
there is
about
no
those later.
typical day here. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, but there is no typical day, man, and that's the beauty of that's what AWOL is all about, man. It's about doing whatever you want to do, It's your another way of life. So whether you want to travel the world like I wanted to do, or whether you wanted to leave your boss like I wanted to do, or whether you want to stay at home with your family, whether you want to dance like Jonathan Romaine, or spend time with your granddaughter like Dana Settle, it's whatever means the most to you. We want you to be able to do that, and we're showing you a vehicle to get to to reach your goals, so that you're able to spend the time doing the things that you love most with the people that you love most. And that's what another way of life is. I mean, that's what it is to me, and that's what it is to Cam. That's what it is to Glenn. That's the vision of AWOL. It's no set way of life. It's whatever it means to you.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That's powerful.
Just to add on to that,
And for
do
me,
you
and
have
for me
anybody
right now,
that was
and for me right now, another way of life is traveling the world and seeing as much as I can see, experiencing different cultures, meeting different people, learning Spanish. You know what I'm saying? That's another way of life for me right now, and that may change one day, but right now that's what it is.
Yeah, okay. Now, just to add on to that, with your family, did you have anybody when you had left the job that said, "You're crazy. What are you doing?" And then now they actually see that you're actually living that other way of life. What is their reaction to your life now?
Yeah, man, I tell you, it'll probably be easier to name the people who supported me. You know, it seemed like everybody was telling me I was crazy, and the reason is because I had a good job, man. I was 24 years old, and I had a really good job, for a 24-year-old guy. You know, I had a lot of friends who had graduated college even before I did, and were severely underemployed, or they weren't employed at all. And they just thought I was the craziest guy on earth. What the hell are you doing? What do you mean you're quitting your job and you're doing this internet thing? Is this another one of those scams you're always doing? You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, man, you can't worry about that. You got to push forward. You got to do what feels right to you, man. And if they're not with it, leave them behind and wait till they catch up. You know what I mean? And that's why that's the mindset. That's why I went with it. And now my parents are pretty much behind me. They still want me to come back home, but they're behind. They're behind me, and they support me now. So, and my friend, I'm catching a lot of my friends' attention. I've had some friends join the business. I got more and more friends asking me about it every single day because I'm marketing the lifestyle that I live. I'm putting pictures on Instagram. I'm putting pictures on Facebook. I'm showing them what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So now they know it's not bullshit. Now I got their attention. You know what I'm saying? They're focusing on what I'm doing now, and it's funny, but I knew that day was coming, man. So I'm prepared for it.
Good deal, good deal.
I got one question for you. You live in a
Yeah.
lifestyle, right? And, having my experience of being in the Army, my kids are always asking me, hey, Dad, what was it like in Iraq? What was it like in war? So now you don't have any kids now, right?
No kidding.
Okay. So now, as a young man, just thinking back, are you just thinking about, man, I'm going to have some good story for my kids about my travels? Are you saying that in the back of your mind?
What that kids are not my problem?
No. That kid, the
No.
story, the story that you tell your kids when you have kids one day about your travels and stuff, where you've been in around the world.
Oh yeah. I hadn't thought about it, man. Kids is it pretty much is the last thing on my mind right now. But when I do have kids, man, I definitely want to be able to show them all the cool shit their dad's been doing. He's been traveling the world and all of that. And I definitely I want to be the coolest dad in the world one day. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to have some stuff to show them, man. So my my journey doesn't stop here. I definitely want to stay here for a while because I love Medellin. But it doesn't stop here, man. I'm gonna go other places and see as much as I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you don't have you're 24. You've been in corporate America. You kind of remind me. Have you read the book 4 Hour Work Week? The Timothy Ferriss.
Yeah, I have.
Did you read it? Did you read it before you was while you was an accountant, or was that after when you became indoctrinated into the AWOL lifestyle?
I actually read the 4 Hour Work Week while I was in Thailand.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Cool.
Yeah,
So
so
you remember?
I read it in between sits.
You remember when he was talking about I think it was an attorney. It was a corporate attorney where he had went down. I think it was to Colombia too, or South America, right? And then he had came back to the office, and then he just couldn't take it anymore, and he just packed his things up, and then he said, "You know what? I'm gone." And then he ended up opening up a surf shop or something like that, and it was kind of like a tourist business, if you will. And he would have clients that would come in that are attorneys and stuff like that, and they would be out there sitting on the ocean, and they'd be like, "Man, I wish I could do this all the time." And he said, "All you do is just gotta come on, just do it." And they were just scared, man. I don't have
Just
to go
do
in
it.
there like
That's
you.
it.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah,
I
man.
think. Or go ahead, Nate.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to add to that. I think that if anybody was watching this and they're tired of their monotonous jobs that they're going to every day, living that box lifestyle, if they go and read uh, 4-hour work week, they'll be begging for a link to get into this.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. 'Cause it's full of stories like that. It's full of stories like that. The entire book is full of stories like that, man. It talks about lifestyle arbitrage, and that's when I was first exposed to it. And it's just ironic that I was exposed to lifestyle arbitrage while I was in Thailand shooting a reality show about living another way of life. You know what I mean? It's you can really live $1 million lifestyle in a foreign country if you're making U.S. dollars. You can live $1 million lifestyle in a foreign country for a fraction of the cost it would take in America, man. And that's when I was exposed to that. And I was like, damn, I'm here in Thailand doing that very thing, and I'm reading about it right now. So, it's just funny how the world works out. You know what I mean?
It's really funny because, again, you take two people, right? You take an AWOL person, like get in frame here. You take an AWOL person here, and then hold on a second here. Hang up on this phone here. You take an AWOL person here, and then you take a person that lives a corporate lifestyle or the blue collar, maybe working in a factory, right? And you ask them some certain questions. You can ask them about what is their dream lifestyle. The AWOL person, the AWOL person over here, he's going to tell you something totally different from the person that lives in a factory. The person, and my mom was talking about this too. The person that lives in a factory, what they're going to tell you is, I can't wait to live for the weekend. Friday when I get off work, oh man, things are gonna be so cool. I can go to the bar, if people are bar flies, I can go to the bar, stuff like that, or I can have time to mow the grass, blah blah blah. And then here's a person with AWOL. Man, sheesh, I just can't wait till a few hours from now. Like you said, Nate, earlier, I'm gonna be paragliding. Different lifestyle, man. Different lifestyle. I mean, I was just noticing, like you were saying earlier, some of the things that you were highlighting. You were saying paragliding, seeing the wonders of the world, Pablo Escobar's mansion. Now, if you guys don't know who Pablo Escobar is, our viewers and listeners, he's a drug dealer that was huge, man, during the 80s and stuff, and they eventually gunned him down at his house. Did you see that house, by the way?
We haven't seen that one yet. We got a lot of them, man.
Wow, he did. He did. But I mean, who gets to say? I mean, because here it is. You watch shows like Miami Vice, and then you hear somebody saying, "Man, the guy who's responsible for a lot of the content of Miami Vice, you get to see him and you get to see his house in person, or the wonders of the world, man. I mean, that's like stuff you hear about in the history books. You know what I'm saying? Or you read about it in Timothy Ferris. But here it is. You read the book, you live in a lifestyle, and it's totally something. Man, hold on, I'm going to have to unplug this phone. It's something totally different from what they say that it is possible, with, by being an accountant and stuff like that. You just don't hear about that stuff,
Absolutely, man. It's something that, and that's the point. That's why I say it's always good to travel, man, because you don't know what you don't know, man. And without stepping out of your comfort zone and seeing some other cultures and going to different countries, man, you don't know what you're missing, man. You don't know you don't know. Man, it's a world of stuff out there that is waiting for you to experience. So I was just willing to put myself in an uncomfortable position for a while in order to be able to do that whenever I wanted to, man. And now that uncomfortable position is getting more and more comfortable every single day. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I wanted to point out, if we went back to kind of even the 4-hour work week lifestyle, I remember when I owned my conventional business, and it was years ago. One of the big vacations that my wife and I took was down in Puerto Vallarta somewhere, and we did this zip line tour. And I remember coming out of that, I talked to the guy who actually put it all together, and I was thinking, man, you could recreate one of these in a different location. And now you see them everywhere. I mean, that was probably 8-9 years ago, but now you see them all over the place. More of these foreign countries have them. But yeah. The point I'm trying to bring up is at that time, I remember coming back, and we owned our conventional business, and I remember calling up a couple guys that I used to be connected with that were business minded, and I said, hey, you know what? We should sell our businesses here, move down to a foreign country, and start some type of zipline tour, because I did some research, and I didn't really see any. And I said, I met this guy that's already put one together and all this stuff. And the thing was, is the relation to that, if I were to have done that, to quit my job and to go down, and it would have been all new territory. The experience would have been different. Even though I would have had somebody to show me how to do it, I could have probably accomplished it because I know I could accomplish anything I want. But I know there's a lot of people out there that believe in themselves that they can accomplish something totally different as well. Now this vehicle that we have, Project AWOL and Power Network combined, we can leverage freedom and income from anywhere in the world and decide to, if we got tired of one place, we can go on to another place, just like you guys going from Thailand to down Colombia. You don't have to be tied to one location anymore. That's one of the really cool things that I've really enjoyed out of this whole program that we're in.
Yeah, man. The internet is amazing, man. It just I'm so glad that I came across it when I did. The old adage goes, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, and that's exactly what happened, man. I was ready for a change, and then boom, it just landed right there in my lap.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's pretty much leveled the playing field like nothing ever else has.
Yeah, man.
In the past.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
When you can take a product and a service that you can offer globally. You don't physically have to be there collecting payments. You don't physically have to talk to every customer to make a transaction, because as we noticed, Tracy Walker talked about, where does money come from? Money comes from people. Timothy Ferriss talks about that also, the 4-hour work week, right? In order for those people to give you their money, you have to. There's two ways you can do that. You can do it illegally, right? Or you can do it legally, and by legally doing that, you can exchange a product or service, right? But traditional way, what Nate has been used to, and my panelists and I have been used to, is the old, let's just say, they call it, what's that, the World War II era type of plan, where you're stuck to a certain job, stuck to a set amount of hours, and you get a paycheck at the end of the week. But the new lifestyle is your paycheck is not every week. You can create income pretty much on demand, and you can do it anywhere in the world. You can just rely on a servers from remote. Most of the servers that probably process our payments and stuff aren't even in the same county as us, let alone the same state. And you can do this, anywhere. Now, Nate, you had talked about, you bring customers on board, and and for your business and you live this freedom lifestyle. Now, does that involve you picking up the phone and dealing with customers all day or all night, or are you actually out there enjoying your life?
No, man, I'm actually out here, enjoying my life. Now, I'm not saying that I don't pick up the phone and I'm not willing to talk to a client or something like that, because I am. But I'm definitely out here enjoying my life, and it's what Tim Ferriss refers to as the rich. You know what I mean? And I'm out here experiencing that, man. I don't wanna hound the phones all day. I'm willing to do it because I care about my team and I care about helping people. But just as much, I care about enjoying my life. You know what I mean? So I make a point to do that every single day as well.
But you're not calling prospects, right? You're talking to clients, paid clients, right?
Talking about clients, right?
Okay, there's a big difference there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not like the Kirby vacuum man on the phone, right? Hey, I'm in Colombia, join my business, right?
Yeah. Absolutely, paid clients.
Now, would you say to the people out there, the best clients to deal with are the paid clients or the prospects, from your perspective?
I mean, definitely paid clients, because they're already qualified. They've already showed that they're serious, or at least they have some level of seriousness. You know what I mean? So I would definitely say paid clients without a doubt. Mostly because you value your time and you don't want to waste it. So by talking to a paid client, you're actually not wasting your time at all. You're investing your time because they've already invested in you and themselves. You know what I mean?
So you switch the role of becoming a prospector to more like a consultant, i.e. mentor, right?
Exactly.
Different from the accounting job, huh?
Very different.
I gotta keep doing that, because there's people out there that are listening interviewing this, and they're like, it was like, is this guy really real? So I got to keep poking you, jabbing you, let people know that you're real.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely real, man. Definitely real.
I know you are. I know you are. We're gonna wrap it up. Jameson and Jason, I'm gonna pass the mic to you guys.
Good, Jason. Good. I'd just like to say, thanks a lot, Nate, for coming on today, and I've really appreciated the information that you brought here, and I think a lot of people, if you're listening to this, you can really gain some. We've left some really good knowledge because, what we're doing here, we're not only showing you a way to make money, but we're showing you a way to improve your lifestyle because, it's like Tony Robbins says, the level of our communication is really it's going to determine the quality of our life. And so the more mentally we work on ourselves, I think everybody on the panel can agree that the more money we make. And so, Tony Rush also, he always says that this is a leadership, it's a leadership company disguised as a business opportunity because we're building leaders here. And so, Nate, appreciate you coming on the call today and sharing with everybody. You dropped some amazing value that everybody could gain from this. So, thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, Jameson.
Jason?
Yeah, Nate, I'd like to follow up to that and say, yeah, we actually thank you for being here. And we had talked a lot today about mindset, and how that is actually vital to succeed in life and in business, because there's a lot of people that actually have the 9-to-5 job that they're afraid to leave because they don't have that right mindset to believe that they can achieve their dream. And so,
right.
what if you haven't learned anything else today, you need to develop yourself to have that inner belief that you can achieve anything there is out there for you, and know it's possible.
Absolutely. I mean,
Absolutely.
There's no other way. I mean, I remember when we had Don Clark on last week. You remember this guy? He was talking about mindset, and then here it is again, Nate. He's talking about mindset and gratitude. Same thing. Is there something going on with
mindset?
It's important.
There's no escaping it, man. And I just want to leave you with one thing, and it was something that was laid on me maybe a couple of months ago, and it was very profound, man. But it's one sentence, and that creates the lifestyle that you want. To have the lifestyle that you want, what you need is not a job, but you need income.
Wow, powerful words.
You need not a job, you need
powerful
income.
words to end with, man.
So
what did Nate say? Let's repeat that.
Is.
You don't need a job, you need an income. But you gotta think about this. I want you, the viewers, to think about. There's a big difference here. Okay, you've been trained for years to think that you have to get a job. But it's like Nate just said, you don't need a job, you need an income, and you can create that income. Okay, you can get back with anybody on this panel today by if you're listening to us on Blog Talk Radio. You can connect with us on Facebook. If you're on our list and you're watching this video, there's a link in the email. And then people that's coming with Nate and stuff like that, you obviously can get back with him. Phenomenal guy. You guys have somebody, a superstar that's leading you guys, and we really appreciate our listeners and we appreciate our viewers who's watching this. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys back here next week at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And what is it out there out west, Jameson?
It starts at 2 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. You catch us 2 o'clock Mountain Standard Time on Thursday.
And then what is it down there in Columbia?
It's Central Time. It's the equivalent of Central Time. So it's 3:50 right now.
Okay, 3:50. So it'll be about 3 o'clock. All right, so there's the 3 time zones. There's not a reason that you should miss. But we thank you guys so much. Bye-bye, everyone.